If every hour feels scheduled, you're not managing time, you're serving it. Good day to you all, and welcome to Bad Day Excellence, the podcast where we turn those tough days into opportunities for growth. I'm Brian Walsh, an optimist with over a decade of experience in marketing, leadership, and personal transformation. In that time, I have shed more than 100 pounds, run a marathon, wrote a book, and worked with some of the most inspiring people I have ever met. I'm here to help you build habits that create clarity, success, and a meaningful life, even when life feels a little chaotic. Every week, we'll dive into the art of habit formation and how you can apply it to your career, parenting, relationships, and beyond. Ready to turn a bad day into your next breakthrough? Let's get started. I've been spending a lot of time reflecting on how I use my time. We only get one shot at life, and time is one of the things we can't get back. Recently, I finished a book by Greg McKeown called Essentialism. The core idea is simple: do less, but better. It's a belief system that I actually already live by, but McKeown gave me the language. Inside, he shares examples on how we can apply this essentialist mindset to every aspect of our lives. The section that hit me hardest was about how the ancient Greeks view time. They believe there are two types, Chronos and Kairos. Chronos is measurable. The ticking clock we all know. Seconds become minutes, minutes become hours. But Kairos, it's different. It's felt time. It's being so present that time disappears. Think of that night when you looked up and you noticed that it was 3 a.m., and yet you still felt energized and alive. That's Kairos. Epictetus, a Stoic who inspired Marcus Aurelius, once said, "You can't control Chronos. Time moves on. But you can choose Kairos, how you use this moment." That line stopped me cold, because we judge ourselves by productivity, not presence. We measure our worth by what we can squeeze into a block of time. And at work, we're rewarded for it. Bonuses, promotions, titles. It feels like winning, but it's not. It's running on Chronos fuel, and that fuel burns out fast. I used to worship productivity. I thought being busy meant I was valuable. I wanted to climb faster and earn more and prove I was someone people could trust to lead. And to be honest, it worked. And for a while, my influence grew. My salary grew. So did my spending. But I was building an identity on output, not meaning. Then it all came crashing down. The company I worked for lost $500,000 and laid off most of its developers. I was one of them. I remember sitting there angry, embarrassed, and scared. I had a 1-year-old at home, and all those hours I traded to get ahead suddenly meant nothing. I felt stupid, empty, and exposed. A month later, I joined Subaru of America, and that's where everything changed. For the first time, I worked for a company with purpose, surrounded by leaders who believed in people. Within 2 weeks, I was speaking to youth at a nonprofit called HopeWorks, teaching empathy through design. That moment woke me up, because I wasn't just chasing deadlines. I was creating impact. Efficiency without meaning, I realized, equals emotional bankruptcy. At Subaru, I spent 7 years learning to slow down, to connect, to build routines that filled me instead of drained me. Those 7 years, they flew by. It feels like yesterday. That was Kairos. Sure, there were hard days, but the peaks outshine the valleys. Why? Because I had freedom, I had support, and I had people who cared. We worked hard, sometimes through weekends, especially before big launches, but we were in flow. Bob Weiss, a Disney Imagineer, calls it a charrette. a fast, creative sprint fueled by collaboration. That's what it felt like. Long hours, but time disappeared. That's Kairos in motion. So, how does this all fit into the habit formation? I want to introduce you to something I call the time ownership framework. It's a 3-layer boundary system that helps you live inside of Kairos instead of being ruled by Chronos. Layer 1, hard boundaries. These are your non negotiables. They protect your energy and health, sleep, family dinners, morning routines. They come first always. If your week feels out of control, start here. Hard boundaries remind you that you own your time, not your calendar. Layer 2, soft boundaries. These matter too, but they can be flexible. Creative work, workouts, reading, reflection time. You can move them, but they can't vanish. If you skip it today, it shows up tomorrow. Soft boundaries keep your values in sight, even when life gets messy. And lastly, layer 3, flow boundaries. These are your Kairos triggers, the things that help you feel alive in your work. They're not about time, they're actually about conditions. Music that helps you focus, a clear desk, a walk before deep work. When you protect these cues, your brain knows it's time to show up fully. You shouldn't just see empty space on your calendar. You should feel like your time stretches, breathes, and belongs to you, because it does. So here's this week's challenge. Open your calendar and take control. Cancel one meeting and replace it with Kairos time. Use that time to enter a state of flow. Create a ritual. For me, it's classical music when I'm deep in thought, or wordless techno when I need energy. Find your rhythm, then protect it. Time expands for those who own it. If this episode gave you a moment of clarity, or even just a breath of space, share it. Subscribe, leave a review, or pass it to someone who's been running on empty. Because when we protect our time, we don't just make progress, we make meaning. I'm Brian Walsh, your guide to habit crafting and your biggest champion. Thanks for tuning in to Bad Day Excellence. See you next time.